Lately, I've been thinking a lot about simplifying family life, not because I want a perfectly organized home and not because I think life should look a certain way, but because somewhere along the way I realized I was making things harder than they needed to be. One thing I've learnt recently is simplifying doesn't necessarily mean owning hardly anything, but I've realised that the more things I have to manage, the more overwhelmed I tend to feel, if that makes any sense. And honestly, that is one of the biggest lessons from all the decluttering that I've been doing recently. It was almost like a light bulb moment of just the simple water bottles. We just ended up accumulating so many juice bottles for the kids that in reality they never used them all, and decluttering over half of those water bottles means that I've got space in my cupboard. It's less washing up unnecessary juice bottles that I just don't need. One's just sitting at the back of the cupboard collecting dust, and it's definitely one of the biggest things I've learned recently. I've also stopped putting quite so much pressure on myself. For a long time, I felt like I needed to do everything, finish every project, keep on top of every room, be completely prepared for absolutely every season and everything that was going on. Now I'm trying to remind myself that done isn't usually better than perfect. It's not a case of I have to do it all in one day. It's not this constant overwhelming feeling. It's just little jobs as I can do them and just almost step by step, if that makes sense. Less pressure, less overwhelm. The more I do, these little, for example, the laundry, the more I do the laundry, I do it every other day, I just put a load on. It's sort of doing it every now and then rather than making it or waiting until the laundry basket is overfilled, then being overwhelmed by having to do 4 or 5 loads of washing that I cannot dry. So it's just removing that pressure and just taking it day by day almost. Something else I've been thinking about is how much children actually need. Because when I look back on my favourite memories, it's never the perfectly planned days, it's pretty much the simple ones. The ones where we're outside, we're making up games, we're having picnics, we're playing in the garden. And my kids have so much. Again, stuff's just come in our house and it's never left our house. So it's definitely doing all of this decluttering recently has definitely sort of made that clear that children don't need that much at all. And that is why I'm gonna continue decluttering and continue making space in our home so that we can continue making new memories and just have the space for that. I don't know if it's because the kids are getting older or because the summer holidays are coming up, but I've definitely been craving a slower pace lately. I think a lot of motherhood can feel a lot like management. Managing a house, managing schedules, managing appointments, managing everybody's stuff. Now, I have been a manager, so I know exactly what that's like, and it's no different at home. And I've realised the simpler that I can make those things, the more mental space that I have. We created this command center and sometimes it gets a little bit out of hand, but I remind myself that it is the key to our home and I just need to sort of reset it every now and then, and everyone's got a space and it makes like everyday admin almost, and letters that I need and everything just all in one place makes it so much easier to manage. And it's just something so simple, but some baskets on a wall and a pegboard with a calendar on, but it really does make so much, like it really does help so much to everyday life. say I want a simpler family life, I don't mean that I want a perfect home or a minimalistic house or even a perfectly organized routine. I think what I'm really looking for is a little more breathing room, a little less rushing around, a little less feeling like I'm constantly catching up, the stress, the overwhelm, and just the heavy weight on my shoulders. I'm definitely still figuring it out, and I don't think family life is ever going to be completely simple. But if I can make things a little easier, especially for this season of life, a little calmer, a little less overwhelming and stressed, then I think that's a pretty good place to start. Obviously, Rose is 8 years old. I've been a mum for 8 years, but a lot of those 8 years, I've not been in a very good mental state, with postnatal depression and everything else that I've been going through. I'm finally feeling better now. Freya is one. It has taken a lot. I've been going on my own personal journey, but I'm starting to feel better mentally, and this decluttering is helping me so much, and I'm seeing better ways to do things. And it really is so much bigger almost than just getting rid of a few things in my house. I'm going on a full-on journey. I'm bringing you guys with me, and I'm so happy that you're here. I hope you enjoy today's video. I hope you enjoy coming along on this journey with us. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys in the next one.